Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about how to change a flat tire. God forbid that actually happen while you're out on the road. We always want to have a flat tire kit with us anytime we're going to be riding outdoors. And I keep mine here under the seat in a saddlebag that you can pick up at a bike shop. And here's what we're going to need. We're always going to need a spare tube that works for our wheel. We're going to need at least 2 tire levers, which we're going to use to help take the tube out of the tire here, out of the wheel. We're going to need a CO2 cartridge, and then we're going to need a valve which goes onto the CO2 cartridge to fill the tire back up once we've successfully changed it. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, unfortunately, we've got a flat tire here. If it happens on the front, we don't actually need to take the skewer off. The first thing I'm going to do is loosen the quick release lever on the brake. I'm going to pop this wheel off, and as you can see, I'm going to keep the skewer on. I would take it off if I was changing the back tire here. Back tire is a little bit more complicated. Okay, so now I'm going to take one of these tire levers. I'm going to go ahead and dig this into the tire, and I'm going to pull the edge of that tire off. Okay, and I'm going to hook that tire lever onto the spoke. I'm going to take the other tire lever, and I'm going to move down about 6 inches. And I'm going to do the same thing. And as you can see, that should pop that tire out to now that tire is working its way off of the rim. And then I'm just going to, as you can see here, slide this all the way around. Here we go. So we're just sliding that tire lever all the way around. All right, great. Now that we have the tire off of one side of the rim, we can pull the tube out. We'll start on the opposite side of the valve here. So we're gonna come over here. I'm going to pull that tube out. Great. And then as you can see here, I'm just going to pop that out. Now I am going to want to run my fingers through the tire to make sure I find maybe that piece of glass that caused the flat tire, just so we don't pop a new tube in there and then immediately get another flat. So we just want to make sure we've got any of those loose pieces or glass out of there. And then now we're going to take that spare tube. Okay, I'm going to use the same one, but in theory, we'd be using a new tube. We're going to go ahead and start by popping the valve in first. So I'm going to find the hole for the stem here. We're going to pop this in. There we go. And I'm going to bring that tire back over the top of the tube. I'm just going to work that tube back inside here. Okay. Just got to make sure we get that tube inside the rim. It's a little tricky, can be a little finicky. As you can see, making progress here. Okay, just gonna keep working this tube inside the tire. There's some loose parts here. Make sure it's all inside the rim and inside the tire. So as you can see, the new tube is now successfully inside the tire. So I can actually start putting the tire back onto the rim. And I'm going to actually start at the valve here, and I'm going to just pop that in. All right? And I'm making sure there's no loose piece of tube popping out of here. Awesome. So I can just work my way down here, and I'm just continuing to pop that over. Okay? Once we get to the end, it's going to get a little tougher. So I'm going to twist around here. I'm going to use both of my thumbs and really press that tire back onto the rim. So now I've successfully got the tire back onto the rim. I'm going to make sure that there's no pieces of tube sticking outside of the tire, because once we fill it up, that could cause another flat. Got to make sure that tube is fully within the tire here. So we're in good shape. So I'm going to go ahead and put this wheel back on. Typically, I'll put the wheel back on before I pump it back up because it makes it easier to get it inside the brakes. All right, so now I'm going to re-fasten the skewer here, get that nice and tight. Awesome. So that's on there. I'm going to go ahead and make sure the brakes are good. Make sure they're not rubbing. Give it a good spin. Make sure the brakes aren't rubbing. Everything's good to go. The last piece I'm going to do is fill it up with CO2. All right, so I'm going to put this valve on top of the CO2 cartridge. And these things can get pretty cold, so I'm actually going to use something. I could use a spare tube or something else to make sure that I'm not actually holding that with my bare hand. Let me grab a paper towel here, improvise. All right, so then we're going to go ahead and take the CO2 cartridge onto the valve here. And we're going to go ahead and make sure it's fully tight. I'm going to press it in and give it a nice, good push. There we go. Get that tight back up. And voila, we've got our flat tire fixed. There's still a bit of CO2 left in this cartridge, so I'm going to hold on to that in case I need it later on in the ride, on the way back before we get it fixed. So that's how you change a tire. Good luck, and like we said, you should always have a flat tire kit with you. Always be prepared for anything that could happen. And as always, reach out with any questions and we can help you. Thank you.